till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Protocol 36. This video, I'll be listing my top 3 saddest deaths in the Raimi Trilogy. And the reason why it's top 3 is because even though there's a lot of deaths in the Raimi Trilogy, there are only 3 that personally made me feel something. And most of the deaths in the original trilogy are villain deaths, and a lot of them aren't meant to make you feel sorry for them because a lot of them died as villains. Also, these are all my opinion, so if you have your own list, please let me know in the comments down below. Would love to read them. This is ranked, so number 1 being a death that does or almost makes me cry as an audience and as a fan, so it might be a tearjerker, so get your tissues ready. Number 3, Dr. Otto Octavius. The Doc Ock in the Raimi universe wasn't just another villain who had a personal connection to Peter, being somewhat of a mentor figure, as Peter had to write a paper on him for his college assignment, but a villain who was actually a good person, noble intentions. When tragedy struck with the death of his wife Rosie and his life's work which failed before his very eyes, as he wanted to create renewable cheap electricity for everyone in the world. Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift, and it's used for the good of mankind. Otto was a good and honest man who was manipulated by the very arms he created to carry on his work, which almost destroyed the city towards the end of the film. However, Peter, with no choice but to reveal his secret identity so that Otto could tell him how to stop the fusion, reminds Otto of the good man he once was. And even though Otto had a dream, one that could benefit the humankind for years to come, as he didn't care about the awards, but the fact that he could make other people's lives easier. It was a dream he learned to let go. As Peter passes down the wisdom May gave to Peter to Otto, sometimes we have to be steady and give up the things we want the most, even our dreams. Otto realizes the errors in his ways, brings the entire warehouse down, and drowns his life's work, sacrificing his life not just for Peter and Mary Jane, but also the entire city, not dying as a monster, but a good man. One of the things that makes his death so tragic is also the fact that it was foreshadowed just when we were introduced to Dr. Octavius, when he was talking about how his wife was trying to explain T.S. Eliot to Otto when they first met in college, which fans over at Reddit spotted. It would later foreshadow Otto's fate in the film. Number 2, Harry Osborn. After the death of Harry's father, Norman Osborn, Harry swore that he would make Spider-Man pay, as he believed he killed his father. As majority of the trilogy, Harry was very vengeful, to the point that his friendship with Peter fell apart in Spider-Man 2. Later complicated his relationship with Peter when he found out that his best friend was Spider-Man. He is met by confusion, but later motivated by revenge, yet again almost killing Peter, but defeated and defeated again later in the same movie, Spider-Man 3. Harry was a young man who wanted nothing but to spend time with his father and to make him proud, which Norman later promised that he would spend more time with Harry before his death. In Spider-Man 3, after he told Peter to get out when he needed his help to rescue Mary Jane from Venom and Sandman, Harry realizes his mistake, which his butler told him that Norman's death was in his own hands and that he should help out his friends because they love him, and deep down there's no denying that he loves them. Instead of dying as a villain or an enemy of his best friend, he made a choice, the right choice, sacrificing his life for Peter, dying the same way as his father, but instead of trying to kill Peter like Norman did, he saved him from Venom. Harry may have been the son of Norman Osborn, but he represented the best of himself and teaches Peter and all of us that we all have a choice and we can always choose to do what's right. Number 1, Uncle Ben. Even though comic book fans at the time of 2002 knew that Uncle Ben was most likely going to die, as this was the first live-action film of Spider-Man, and as the trailer showed, it would explore the hero's origin story. Even though Spider-Man was still popular, his origin story wasn't as explored as it is now. However, when Sam Raimi was hired by Sony to direct the first film, he knew that he would have to do the death of Uncle Ben, as he was a major fan of the classic Spider-Man run by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and later replaced by John Romita Sr., which was why most of the films had villains from that era. The way the death of Uncle Ben is dealt in this movie was very heartbreaking, especially unlike the classic comics. Peter and Uncle Ben didn't have an argument before his inevitable death, but the film changes that, making his death even more painful. Watching Uncle Ben holding Peter's hand until he died almost makes me shed a tear, because he was Peter's father, though not biologically, of course. However, as Peter states to Norman in their final battle of the same film, Peter had a father, and his name was Ben Parker. Though the memes of Toby crying ruins the moment for a few, the origin story in the film was not only accurate to the first appearance of Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy 15, but it was also the death which was brought up in a massive way in the sequel. showing that Aunt May was actually blaming herself for her husband's death, even though Peter knows what happened. At the moment Peter confessed to Aunt May that it was actually his fault. The performances of Tobey Maguire and Rosemary Harris gives are exceptional and need to be talked about more. To me, in my opinion, Uncle Ben's death will always be the saddest death in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, and also the most vital death, as without that death, we wouldn't have the Spider-Man we all know and love from the films. However, what about you guys? Do you agree with this list, or do you have your own list? Which one is the saddest death? Please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read it. If you enjoyed this, please like, and if you haven't yet for some reason, subscribe to begin Protocol 36.